On this episode, Adam Raizin from the K Company stops by.
Hello out there in TV land. No, very excited to be here. Chad, really, thanks so much. I'm excited. We got the whole camera thing going on.
It's pretty cool, right?
Yeah, it is. It is. We're going to get down to business today and
absolutely
teach your agents that your clients, your customers, and all, and your friends some really good tactics and strategies. So I'm excited. So
I've been looking forward to it. So I've known Adam for a while, and as great of a realtor as Adam is, I love the person that Adam is even more. We always have a blast when we get together,
right,
and kind of just shoot the shit together. And I wanted to bring him on the show because the guy is just a wealth of knowledge. And not only that, but he's polarizing. So I've set the bar real high for him today. So he's going to have to entertain you guys. But I wanted, really what I love most about Adam is the person Adam. So if you could just tell the viewers a little bit about Adam Raizin and what you're all about.
All right, sure. Okay, so let's go back. I'll make it as quick as possible to just give you an idea. My father was a school teacher, had to make ends meet. His first year annual salary was $4,000 a year. The house was $20-something thousand. He had to borrow $3,000 from his sister-in-law to buy the house. And then just growing up, had a great childhood. But it was always a struggle. The most amount of money my father ever made was $40,000, single, person in the breadwinner in the house. So we had to sell at the flea markets, and swap meets and street fairs in Manhattan, Long Island. You hear the New York accent?
A little bit.
Yeah,
a little bit.
No, right. I'm not from Florida, right? Nothing like that. Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. So I just learned some great sales skills from my father. It was basically connecting, and the man is phenomenal. So I learned a lot from him. Okay, speed up. Buying, selling, fixing properties. I don't like the word flip because I actually did a really good job. I wanted to know, like, if Chad bought one of my homes, the properties that I fixed up, that when I saw him downtown, he says, hey, the roof is leaking and the plumbing's no good. So 2007, the market crashes. Okay, I get into real estate in 2007, and I did 36 transactions my first year as a single agent, when most of the other agents were jumping out. They were going back to doing whatever they had to do. They were trying to recreate them, but there were still people dying and job relocation and seniors, moving on and stuff like that, downsizing, upsizing, and then of course there were short sales. So for me it was a process, but I went from one brokerage to another brokerage to another brokerage, and with a brokerage that I like very much, and here I am today.
So you did in your first year, you did 36 transactions?
Mm-hmm. Right.
So what would you attribute, because that's a killer first year for any realtor, right? Averaging 3 transactions a month. Mm-hmm. Even if you've been in the business 20 years, doing 3 transactions a month is good. Right. So what would you attribute your early success to?
Okay. For me, it's all part of not only my business plan, but my life plan. I think it's very important. You have to have goals and strategies and generally a basic picture. Okay, so where do you see yourself in 3 years, 5 years, 10, 20 years? And how do you want to work? Like, we have David behind the scenes. He helps me with the coaching program that I have now. We'll talk maybe a little bit about that. Okay, so, just driving here, I don't know if it was like a 45-minute drive.
Probably longer.
Longer, right. That's not part of my plan, okay? Right. I wanted to make money, basically, and work from my house. Backwards baseball cap, T-shirt. By the way, I love these shirts you've been wearing and stuff like that. Yeah, it's good. And then I realized, all right, you know what? We're branding, so I'm usually like ripped shorts, sneakers. So here,
nice.
This is the coaching company, Fast Track 1020. We'll tell you more about that. So we could use this, lose that garbage.
I did not know that was going to happen.
Yeah, Captain Chaos. Hang in there. We're going to have a lot of fun. I'm talking to you. All right, so this video, by the way, with Chad, the one agent that's watching this, okay, whether you've done one deal, no deals, or you're doing 101 deals, I'm here really just, he asked me as a friend to come in and speak with you, and that's really what I want to do. And there's a connection. He says, Adam, I want to show value and give something to the agents that use our business, something that they could take away. Right? So that's why I'm here. So yeah, driving the 45-minute drive is not part of the picture. Okay, and if you look around where you live and where you work, I mean, there's real estate signs for these agents. You know, all these houses for sale. Why don't you have all of them?
Right.
You don't have to go a half hour or 45-minute way.
Right.
You could work that market right there.
I mean, I know a lot of agents are driving, you know, all over town, all over the Tri-County area. You know,
right.
And I know that you're like the mayor of Lake Worth. So
right.
everyone knows who Adam Raizin is.
These index cards, okay, very simple. This is one coaching thing. And you could fight me on it if you're one of my students and you don't want to do it, fine. We'll move on to something you're going to do, you know. When the student is ready, the teacher shall appear. So it's called Fast Track 1020 because we're going to give you specific strategies and techniques, you know, tools, you know, that will help you streamline your business but yield you more profitability in there. Okay, that's what everybody wants.
That's the one thing I remember from, I went to your house that time, and I remember, you pulling out the note cards, and you always have the note cards on you, so
always
you know
have it,
every
right.
day what you need to do that day to
right.
complete your I guess whatever your tasks are for the day or your business building activities for the day.
Right.
You're very clear.
Right. So when you get up in the morning, and we could touch on this, and the great thing about me and you is that we could flow.
Right.
I mean, if you could watch this for 6 weeks, we'll still be here, you know, taping
Absolutely.
and recording. It's just good stuff, and I'd like to come back if your viewers think that it's helpful. So, yeah, so to give you an idea, all right, so by 7:30, it was really 7:40 this morning, I had 2 contracts in play. I spoke to 3 clients already. By 7:40 or 42, I think it was, all right? And they're on here, all right? So one of them, all right, is going to yield me. So what I do is I actually will put the address, the person's name, and I put the dollar amount that when I closed.
I remember seeing that.
You remember seeing that?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So on here, all right, so I have commission, and yeah, I figure gross, and I'm with a great company now where they take very little.
Right.
All right, and it's all about branding and marketing. You know, so for me it works out great. So there's $9,250, $10,750, $7,000, $8,500. This card is worth $35,000. If I gave this card to almost anybody and say, hey, call so-and-so and do this and do this. Now, it doesn't mean like that address and that name is not going to be on tomorrow's card,
right.
But I do that task for that day, and that gets me closer to the $9,250. So a card like this is very effective, all right? And it starts the night before. You write down anything, get that off your head so maybe you could sleep, and then you continue it in the morning.
Right.
And you do your money-making activities
in the morning.
In the morning.
Always. Yep.
Always in the morning. Always in the morning.
We call so I have something that I call it a daily success plan.
Okay.
So I have a DSP that I do, and my DSP is daily things that I do, and then I also have one that's for monthly. So that way, because there's certain things I want to do on a monthly basis, and teach certain classes or give certain webinars and stuff like that. So those I want to check off that I did them on a monthly basis for consistency, and then the other things are the daily. So what are some daily prospecting that you do that makes it onto the note card?
Okay, all right. But when I get up in the morning, it's very much of like reflecting of where I want to be or where I am, basically, and have an affirmation,
Right.
And I'm going to share these things. As a matter of fact, if you should have an affirmation night. You need an affirmation. Okay, so you could say, "Great listings come my way." All right, that's in the now. It's not that they're going to come. Great listings come my way. You know what I mean? Another one. Do you have any affirmations at all?
So it's funny that you mentioned that. So I do have affirmations that I do, and I recorded it, and I listen to it every morning.
Okay.
So I set it and recorded it, and I have it on my phone in like a voice memo.
Right. I don't have TV. By the way, that's my first tip. Shut the TV off. Get rid of it. I mean, I have some from years ago, and I don't know what's really going on in that sense. But live your own reality series.
Right.
Okay. People come in the house. Where's the TV going to go? Where's that TV? Is it going to go over here? And that's okay. You're selling them a house, but maybe you could sell them not only the house but the yard and the town, and you know what I mean. And that's why I show all my own listings, even if they're vacant, because I'm getting a realtor from Fort Lauderdale. We're up in Palm Beach County, and I'm going to be like, hey, and when you show the house, by the way, I'm going to give you some tips, like I mentioned. Also, we're going to give away some books. I was speaking to David, he's also behind the camera here, with a coaching company. We're going to give away, we spoke about 5, I'm going to give away 10 free half-hour coaching sessions. All right, so we're going to ask you to send us a quick email, the answer to some things that we spoke about when we wrap this up. And if you're one of the 10 people that email us first with the correct questions, I'm going to get in touch with you, with David. I'm going to send you this 5-page questionnaire. You're going to fill this out, and then you're going to get on the phone with me for a half hour. I'll take you, whether it's from whatever you want to do, from 1 deal to 10 a year, from 10 to 20, 30 to 40, whatever your
And what if their goal is to work less also? I mean, I think that's
the whole thing.
That's another important part too, is, look, I know a lot of people are, they're working 10, 12, hour days. And I think for a lot of people, it's not necessarily growing the business. It's like, how can I set up my business to automate my business and to be able to have a life? Because at the end of the day, if you're making great money, that's all nice. But if you can't spend the time with the people that you want to spend it with, and doing the things you want to do, then it's all kind of a moot point.
Right. So another fun exercise I do is I'll take an 8.5 by 10 piece of paper, and I recommend this to everybody. And don't overthink it. So here you are, and we want the house with the white picket fence, and then maybe I'm into hot rods, classic automobiles. I race different events throughout the country. You walk into my house, it's like, what's that show? American.
His house is like a museum. It's the cool. He has the coolest stuff, like collectibles of all different. I don't know, antiques.
Yeah.
And it was like walking through his house was like walking through a museum. It was like I looked over here, looked over there, and then in the backyard you still have the camper.
I have a Shasta 1954 Shasta trailer. So, but
anyway, sorry.
It's great. No, it's fun. It's fun. And I use that as a selling point. So people come in my house and they go, oh, they have dead grass and chain link fence. I said, well, let me show you what you can do and how you should plant. If you had $1,000, don't landscape with just trees on the outside of your fence perimeter. Do it closest to the back door, so when you go out, you have an immediate result.
Right.
And build the deck, maybe an awning or a pergola. Then when you get a little bit of money, you can do this. And I show them, this is 25 feet
Stuff they
wide.
can enjoy.
Something they can enjoy. And I bring value. It's a value proposition. I keep going back to that. You got to show your value. So here for everybody, and as far as being like a museum, you could touch everything. It doesn't matter. It's not like, it's all old, and it's things you had, I had, your parents had is in the house. So you just basically brainstorm. Now, if your idea is to have a house with a white picket fence, you put that down there. You want to go to some car events or sporting events, and that's it, and you're happy with that, and you have your family, and that's it, that's fine. Who am I to say? You know what I mean? Or maybe you want to have a farm, not just a little house with a white picket fence. You want to have a farm, and you want to grow your own vegetables and animals, but not to eat the animals. So is it like your
vision board?
It's your vision board, but it's something that's not, because every time, and you should have a vision board. I think it's important, but let's just have fun. You know what I mean? And maybe that farm, you're going to have terminally ill children or children with disabilities could come for free, and they can come on the farm and help you plant and stuff like that. What's your legacy? Do you want to say, I'm Joe the Realtor, and here lies Joe the Realtor, and I sold 40 homes a year, and I'm a nice guy, and I love the football games and stuff like that. And if that's good for you, then that's good for me. Right. But what is your legacy? What is your why? What drives you?
That was one of the books there that I saw you had up there, Simon Sinek, and you and I both are a huge fan of that book. And if you guys haven't, I'll include the link to one of the TED Talks that Simon did. I think it's the #1 TED Talk of all time.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. So it's Start With Why, and I'll put it in the show notes below so you guys can check that out. But it's well worth your time. For me personally, I found it a little more difficult than some people do, like getting to your why. It's not as easy of an exercise sometimes as you might think. So.
Right. So Simon Sinek, whatever, however you pronounce it. All right. He basically explains here, but in the YouTube video, in the TED Talks and all, why, how, and what. He talks about something called the golden circle. Okay. And basically, the golden circle. And again, you could.
We should get a whiteboard here in the back.
Why not? But it's why, how, and what. And this is great. You read this, you watch TED Talks. If you get a coaching session, I'll go over something. Your listing presentation, your whole drive for people should be starting with why. It's about them. It's about them. It's not about you. The what is, I'm going to have a great photographer. I'm going to take excellent pictures. I'm going to put you on social media. You're going to go on the multiple listing service. I'm going to have open houses. I'm going to have broker open houses. I'm going to do all these things. And you're expecting people to hire you. Right. Well, guess what? The other 3 to 5 other agents that came for the job, they're all doing the same thing. So how about taking all of that, pushing it aside for a while, and going right there in the middle with the why? The limbic system. All right, so he'll explain that. The limbic system is how we make, that talking head song. You may ask yourself, how did I get here? All of a sudden, You have kids, you have a wife, you know what I mean? And then the whole thing, it's like, I don't know, was this the plan? You know what I mean? I'm not really sure. So what is their plan? Where are they going? Why are they going?
Right.
You know, when do they want to sell? Blah, blah, all that other stuff.
And they say most of the people can identify the what. Like, that's fairly simple, right?
Right.
And then the how is another level deep. And even most people can identify, okay, here's how I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. Mm-hmm. But it's the why that most people miss the mark. And most businesses never get to the why.
Right.
So they do the what and the how, but it's the businesses that get to the why where you become a brand. Where it's like, and you know, I think Harley does a really good job of, like, it's, you know, Harley, they're a lifestyle.
They are.
They're not a
Right.
motorcycle.
And their motorcycles are 10, 20,000, whatever more than the other bikes.
Right.
And they're not necessarily the better motorcycle.
Right.
If you're a Harley fan, I have Harley, so don't take any offense. But that Honda engine is just a beautiful machine.
Right.
You know. So that's important that you said that. You know. So when I call somebody on the pre-listing phone call, I go, look, yeah, this is a business phone call, but let's forget about that. Let's push that aside. Tell me more about you, blah 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 blah. I put them at ease,
right.
You know what I mean? And I'll also ask them, do you have any idea what you think your house might be worth, your property might be worth? That's a great question, but we're having a casual conversation.
Right.
Well, Zillow says it's worth $295, but really I think that's too high. Well, that takes a lot of pressure, because I was going to go there and tell him, well, let's list it at $325. But he already says to me, this actually happened a week ago. And he's happy. We're listing it at $285. Bam, bam. I can't make it any easier. He picked that. I knew what he was thinking. You know, and it's a great dynamic. It's a great thing. Get in touch with the people that are either buying or selling a house. And when you show houses, don't lead them around like the Pied Piper. You open the door, say, come on in, try it on for size, see how it feels. I'll be right here to help you and answer any questions. They may ask you about the age of the AC right. and the roof and the taxes and the insurance and all the stuff. When was this updated? When was that? That's okay. But when they get caught emotionally, they're tied into that house with that limbic system versus the neocortex. All right, that's all the numbers. That's the architects, right. the mathematicians.
Do you do anything? I'm sorry. So speaking of that, do you do anything with like vision casting, putting them into the home? So like you walk up to a home, front yard, instead of being like, hey, this house has great curb appeal, saying, like, check out this front yard, like, and you're walking up and they have kids. Mm-hmm. Could you imagine your kids playing in this front yard, or check out that tree? You could probably hang a swing right from that tree. And
Good.
Do you do anything like that with them?
I do, and it's all, you have to prepare, all right? So to answer that question, yes. So even if they're not my buyers, and it's my listing, okay. And by the way, I close 22 to 36% of all my listings. I get both sides. I mean, how great is that?
That's pretty.
That's pretty good. Yeah. I could adjust the commission if I want, or I could, who's better to negotiate than with yourself?
Yeah,
I mean, it's
exactly.
great. You know what
pretty
I mean?
Good.
I mean, you're a nice guy. We would probably do it right there.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Come on, Adam.
You're gonna have to come down. Oh, we can't come down. We're coming up. Who is that guy?
You really freak out your seller.
Yeah, and myself and my friends and family. So I try to find out about the buyers in this example. She's an artist. Okay, so in my town we have a lot of artists and musicians and stuff like that. So a garage could be turned into an art studio, a music studio, stuff like this. So if I know that, an example, he, whatever, she's an artist, okay, I am going to engage them. I'm going to ask them, so how do you, and I'm only going to ask the question like a good lawyer if you know the answer, basically. Right. You know what I mean? How do you feel about the light that's coming in from this window here? You know what I mean? It's a north window, and this actually happened. His name was Shannon, and he bought a house on North O Street in Lake Worth. I don't make up things because I always joke I have a lousy memory. I'd be caught in a lie. And he was like, oh my God, I always wanted a north window. I had no idea. I think, you want an east window or any other exposure, but north, who the heck wants it? Shannon, he wants it, and you know what I mean?
Perfect, this is the perfect house for you.
So I knew that he was an artist, you know what I mean? And then something, so that's how I try to engage them. What do you do? I'm a musician. Well, do you feel that you would use this third bedroom as a studio, or do you think maybe the garage or the shed in the building with a little mini split AC? So would that be better, or how do you? So you know,
so you're putting them in the home.
I'm putting them in the home. Yeah, and sometimes it sounds corny. I have been known to do this and said, so your furniture, do you see it here? I know it's corny, and other realtors will make fun, but it works. You know what I mean? So, you know, it's our logo is basically don't reinvent. Our tagline, don't reinvent, just implement. You know, so we'll give you all these strategies and stuff like that. And if you could take 5, 6, 8 of the 10 or hundreds that we give you, they're gonna do. Their numbers are going to win.
And I personally know a few of the realtors that you coach and you know that are newer to the business, and they're knocking it out of the park.
Right.
So
right.
I think, look, I'm a huge fan of coaching. Most of my realtors know you know that I'm part of different mastermind groups, and look, anybody who does anything at a very high level has coaches, right?
Yes.
So you don't look. There's not one Olympic athlete that doesn't have a coach, or one athlete at the top of their game. And you know, anybody in office, and you know, these people, they all have their go-to people. So for me, coaching is very near and dear to my heart, and I think that you can't, you know, I know you're going to give out some free coaching sessions, which I think is awesome. So I would highly suggest that if you're a realtor that's looking to either take your business to another level, or you're looking to just maybe work more efficiently in your business, and not really happy with the way things are running in your business, or how your life is running because of your business, I highly suggest that you reach out to Adam and look for free. Right, you can't beat that, and just, I mean, I love talking to this guy, so you know it's something that I know you'll connect with him. He's just he's awesome. He's awesome. So
yeah, you're going to be able to go to Fast Track 1020, and Fast Track is 2 T's, Fast Track, and then the number 10 and the number 20.com. We have a Patreon account. You can check us out at Patreon, so they could follow our YouTube videos, the podcast, things on this idea, and then if they want to take it to the next level. I mean, when I first started coaching, it was $1,000 a month. I'm like, where the heck am I going to find this? But I knew that the majority of agents in my area were not doing that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I was paying $1,500 a month for years.
You were paying $1,500. Right. And one young lady, I'll be coaching with her a little bit later this week, and second year in the business, and she's at about $150. You know, that's her, $150,000 her second year in business, you know. And then, you have somebody else, another young lady, I'm coaching her. She's like, Adam, thank you so much because, I'm having all of this. And she was born and raised in Lake Worth. She's perfect. She knows, who bought that house originally, what the kids' names, the dogs' names, stuff like that. She really has a wealth of knowledge. She just has to know how to execute it. You know what I mean?
I think that's the two best things that I found about coaching is, one, they see things that you don't, right? So the coaches a lot of times, because you're caught in your own business emotionally, and so they can see the blind spots.
Yes.
And then of course the accountability piece, right? So it's like going to the gym with a trainer. It's you have to show up, right? And that the trainer is going to ask you, hey, what have you been eating this week?
Right.
How you been doing, right?
Right.
So there's nothing worse than running enthusiastically in the wrong direction.
Right.
So,
especially realtors.
Yeah.
It's like squirrel, and it's just like
it's salespeople in general. I'm guilty of it. The shiny object syndrome.
Right, the shiny object, that thing that keeps glitter.
It's
that, and it's just. I want to just jump back before I get, because I want to give your people here some things. Your affirmation, besides great listings coming away, write this down or play it back when you're watching it. All right. Figure out how much money you want to make a year. Be realistic. If you've never made $100,000, it might be an unrealistic goal, but optimistic. So here's something that your affirmation, your main one should be. I market and sell, and then pick a figure of gross volume. I market and sell $5 million worth of real estate. I market and sell $10 million worth of real estate. Whatever that times 3%, is going to get you, and think gross. Don't think about your cut with your broker. Right. I market and sell $10 million worth of real estate by December 31st, or you could do it just before Thanksgiving, but do it by December 31st of 2018. I market and sell $10 million worth of real estate by December 31st of 2018. Here's the big part. And all things create that perfect result. So I market and sell $10 million worth of real estate by December 31st, and all things create that perfect end result. It's in the now. Okay, so you need the affirmation. Put it on your bathroom mirror,
Right.
your kitchen mirror, and say it, and that's it. You're a big fan of what's that? Tony Robbins.
Tony Robbins,
right?
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
You went to his thing and all
Yeah,
that stuff.
yeah.
So before Tony Robbins, all right, there's a ritual. You're gonna get up before Tony Robbins goes out and speak. Do you know anything about him? What he does?
He does his power move, and he gets
does his
himself
power
into,
move,
and he gets himself into the state.
Right. He
peak
gets
state.
himself in the state. Right.
Yep.
He gets himself in the state.
Makes his move.
And he makes his move, right? So he makes his move, and he has this like little mini trampoline, that's a circle trampoline. I don't know if you know about this. And he's behind the scene, and he starts bouncing on it, and I think he starts pounding his chest, and he does all this thing, yeah. And when he comes out, he even claps, right? He has everybody doing this kind of a thing. You know what I mean? So I'm really big about. I'm really big about going and creating different things and getting. I'm going to show you something right now. Hold on a second. Here we go. I'm going to do this, and I'm going to come down to here about my morning routine. Okay, and something I do every morning with my dogs. Okay, this is a big one of mine. Okay, this is a big one right here. Okay, I gotta get pumped, all right? Because I'm gonna sell ice to an Eskimo. You ready? I know you're not feeling well. Come on, let's ready. Come on, let's go, Chad. Jump around. I'm talking to you. Let's go. Let's go make some money. Let's go get busy. There you go. Woo! Yeah, we look ridiculous, but it's our life.
Let's meet begin.
Awesome.
That's a sin. Hook, you better back up. Get up, stand up, come up with your hands up. I might have heard this song before.
All right.
I feel better already.
Yeah. So you can cancel that doctor's appointment. Woo! All right. Yeah, silly, ridiculous. You feel good. Now go and call Mr. and Mrs. Goldberg and say, hey, let's list that freaking house, man. Let's make it happen.
What do most people do? Most people walk in.
Yeah.
They sit down.
Yeah.
And like, I gotta make these calls. And then they do some creative avoidance.
Right.
And they start thinking, I actually gotta answer that email, and then I gotta do this, and I gotta rearrange my files.
Right. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Right. And they're like this. Hi, Mr. Goldberg. Yeah, it's Joe, the realtor, and I'm. Oh, you can't make it. You got another call. You can't make it. Okay, thanks. Bye.
Yep.
It's like, what are you doing, man?
Right.
People do business with people that they like. So, it's a contact sport. Get in there, go for lunches, have a cup of coffee, things on this idea. If you have, we got to touch on database. Can we talk about that?
Absolutely. I think that's a.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. So realtors, they'll come to me. They're like, "Hey, Chad, I want to learn some Facebook ads." Mm-hmm. And this is true story. Happened at a realtor. Come and sit in my office. I want to learn Facebook ads. And I'm like, that's great.
Right.
We can do that. Hey, what are you doing with your database?
Right.
Nothing. Why do we want to go to Facebook ads and get more leads when you're not doing anything with your current? So I wanted to kind of tee up because I think some of the other stuff's more sexy.
Right.
But database, there's nothing more important than your database. So go ahead.
Okay,
I want
good.
to tee up there.
Yeah, that was great. Good thing. So in 2016, I lost $179,000 because I didn't follow up with my database. Your sphere of influence, your past clients. $179,000 is what I lost. It's not what I made, it's what I lost. So there were 10, 15, 30 seconds, maybe a minute that was like, oh my God. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just going to lock myself in the house. But then I was like, oh my God, that's great. That is so exciting because, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I got it. It was the aha moment, right? Yeah. We've spoken about this before. So you have that aha moment. So use that as a tool to go like, never again. Never again is that going to happen.
Right.
You know what I mean? And maybe I can't get that whole database figured out and and stuff like that. By the way, I can't stand the computer. I don't write out my own listing agreements, my contracts, nothing like that. I don't even upload my paperwork to my broker so I can get my disbursement authorization.
So what do you do with your database? So how does that look like? So being as you're not a big computer guy, right? You're not a big you're not big on the digital stuff. So how is it that you go about your database marketing?
Okay.
Because I know a lot of people blame technology on,
right.
You know, my database isn't put together, this and that. So what do you do?
Okay, so let's do a little bit of database with you mentioned Facebook. All right. So on my Facebook page, okay, whether you have a business one or a personal one, okay, you could post the houses, which I'll do. I'll post the house,
right.
and I make sure I get that out before it goes on MLS, and I'll do a sneak peek.
Yep.
3 bedrooms, 2 bath. So if I can get 1, 2, 3 days before it hits the masses, maybe I'm going to get the buyer on that
right.
side too, right? All right, so one of my videos that got a lot of views was I told a joke. And it was just me, casual in my backyard with that 1954 Shasta Trail behind me, and I started telling a joke. Now in the heading it says, I'm going to start with a joke, and then I want to tell you about 3 like awesome listings in the area.
I remember this.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay. And I got a lot of views for me, all right, because I'm not on Facebook too much, right? But my sister even, she says, wow, you got a lot of views. I said, yeah, because I'm very, very funny. You know, I mean, obviously,
of course.
Naturally, right. So I told the joke, and it was hard for me to remember the joke. I had to do it about 5 times with the phone, and it was up there, taped up to a little tripod. And then I told about the 3 houses. So I got 2 calls. All right. Now, of those 2 calls about the property, well, I got calls about the video. 2 potential buyers, one of them bought a house, not that house that he asked me about, but another house. Geez, I'll make a video every day, you know, and do something like that. But it was engaging, so, you know, so it's things like that.
That's actually a good idea, by the way.
Right.
Video day.
It really,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Use video day, yeah. So another thing I do is note cards. Okay, you and I spoke about this.
Yep.
So this says Gentle Ben, Pixel, and Tuffy. So I adopted 2 dogs from a friend of mine. She became a friend because she heard about me and stuff like that, about the real estate and my dog that passed away. So instead of, if somebody, God forbid, you know, somebody passes away in your Facebook or in your database or something like that, or if there's a congratulations kind of a celebration kind of a thing, you know, start with this. You know, take a pen, take a card. It doesn't have to be so personalized, but it doesn't take you much. You can go to Vistaprint and put something on there that's endearing. Again, we're trying to catch them in their in the limbic system. So, you know, and then just write, hey, dear Chad, you know, congratulations, awesome, the graduation of your daughter. Obviously, you know, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. You and, you know, your wife must be super proud. Just took a minute or 2 just to let you know. Hope all is well. Enjoy your Father's Day weekend. Whatever. Oh, by the way, I don't even write these out, all right? My assistant writes them out, but I tell her what to say, okay? Because you can't read this. This is, you know, like it looks like a prescription. But yeah, so I'll just say, hey, I want you to send out 10 cards, and it's going to be to this, 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 and this, and this, and this, and this, and we write it up and touch them on this and touch them on that. It's sincere,
right?
You know what I mean? But I want it to look like, you know, that it has to be that it's legible. So this is awesome. I've gotten people say, hey, you know, God, I'm very sorry your mom passed away, but it's evident that she was a great leader because she instilled all these things. She called me up and she says, you know, Adam, my daughter wants to buy a house, she says, and we'd like you to help us. That happened like within 3 days of them receiving the card mailed. Okay, so things like that are
some people say
very
coincidence.
Effective.
Yeah.
Oh,
Some
yeah,
people.
yeah. Right. And everybody who knows me, there are no such thing as coincidences.
Absolutely.
If you keep saying, "Oh, what a coincidence!" 5 times a year, 10 times a year, obviously, you know.
You keep putting yourself in the right position to get lucky.
Right. Absolutely.
That's all about the.
Yeah.
So if they want to take part in the coaching, how do they go ahead and do that?
Okay. So so like we said, David and I, we're gonna give away 10 free half-hour coaching. All right. So this is what I'd like you to do. You're going to email fasttrack1020coaching@gmail.com. Fasttrack1020coaching@gmail.com. Maybe, Paul, you could throw that up on the screen for us or something like that. Might be a little bit easier. And just answer these questions. Okay, you give me the answers to these simple questions, and the first 10 that come to us, we're going to call you up and we're going to give you some coaching sessions. And the rest of the people, a handful of other people, I'm going to send you this book, or this book, Grant Cardone, you know, Thinking Out of the Box, Why Quantum Physicists Do Not Fail. All right, so we're just going to give these and a whole bunch of other things for free. All right, so if we could help you, that's fine. You could still follow us for free anyway,
right.
You know, like I said, fasttrack.com and all these other sites. But, okay, so one thing is, how would you say, what is important when you're having a listing presentation, all right? Would it be the why, the how, or the what? Okay, what's the biggest key right there, all right? The other part is Here's the question and the answer. Ford, family, occupation, recreation, dreams, right? So we didn't invent this, but we know it. Yep. So when you're having a conversation with somebody, it doesn't have to be in that order. It's just like, hey, Chad, how's the family, and how's work, and what did you like to do for fun, for recreation, and in 5 years from now, what's your dreams and desires? But you could strike up a conversation with anybody on the street or your database with Ford. So Ford stands for family, occupation, recreation, dreams. So the question is going to be, what does Ford stand for? And you have to tell me family, occupation, recreation, dreams. Okay, affirmation. All right, so go back and play and write down the affirmation that you want any of those two. Either great listings come my way, or I market and sell X amount of millions of dollars by December 31st, and all things create that perfect end result. Okay, so just answer those questions really quick. Put it in an email. Send it to fasttrack1020coaching.
Did they do one or all three?
They should do all three. Good, okay. All three. Just give me the answers. So Ford stands for family, occupation, recreation, dreams. Boom. Next one. Affirmation. Great listings come my way. If you want to just send me one affirmation, go ahead. Okay. And then the listing presentation. You know, the biggest thing is the why. Okay. If it's why, how, or what, that's the why. That's what you want to do, because everybody else is doing the what. Okay. So, absolutely. And that's basically, you send that to an email. Get as close as you can, send it to us, and we'll call you up, and we're going to give you that questionnaire and get you started. You know, but there's still a lot of ways that they could participate. I just want to help people. So if they're struggling because they're with you, they can call us up and stuff like that, and I'll see what I can do to get them started. If they're doing 1 deal a year, we'll get them to 5. If they're doing 5, we might get them to 10, 15, 20. You know?
Yeah, no, I'm excited. I'm excited to have you back again. You know, I know you're a wealth of knowledge, and I love having you on the show. I want to thank Adam again for stopping by today, and we look forward to seeing you again next week right here on the RE Solution. Have a fantastic day.
Thanks very much.